Good morning, guys. It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. So, as some of you may know, tonight I will be embarking on a new little journey, small journey, not leaving the country. But I wanted to make this video because I think it's really important that a lot of us understand exactly what travel is or means or what to kind of expect. So, and this is going to be, what do you call them? A blabbing video. Not really any direction necessarily, kind of just giving you an idea of some things to think about. First of all, if you intend to travel, whether it's locally or abroad or all the way across the world, the number one thing that you have to do is take your reach up real high, reach up real high right now. Go ahead, reach up real high and get your attitude, get your assholeness, get your frustrations, get every piece of you that you know, your non-open-mindedness, your non-relenting, your spoiled bratness, your everything, okay? Get up there, reach it. Your anger, your aggression, your personal space, whatever it is that encompasses and embodies you as an American or as a person that is not familiar with traveling, grab it, reach it, pull it down, roll it up in a ball, smash it, throw it in the freaking garbage, and realize that this is a new body experience, new life experience, and you are not going to go into it with any of those mindsets. Leave your politics behind, leave your thoughts of religion behind, and I'm not saying that those don't stay within you. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But just remember, when you go to different countries, people believe completely different things. People may think that you are a supporter of whoever is in presidency or whoever is not in presidency. People think sometimes around the world that you have supported literally anybody that's ever been in office. Now, also, sometimes in the world, people believe if you are Christian, then you are this. And not everybody believes or understands that there's Christian, but then there's all these subcategories of Christianity. And so I would say, if you ever start a conversation, just like they say, don't drink and talk about religion, politics, sports, anything like that. Same goes for travel. You don't want to spark up a conversation, especially in those iffy countries, with people that you really don't know. So my suggestion to you is go into every scenario, anytime you travel, with an extremely open mind. Now, that being said, travel is not going to make you be somebody that you're not, okay? So if you're an antisocial person and you're very introverted and you don't reach out and talk to people, I can't necessarily say to you that this is going to change just because you travel, because it's not. You can force yourself to change, but don't think if you're alone or whatever, that if you travel, all that stuff's going to change, because that's just not true. Now, you also have to be respectful. You also have to be respectful of cultures, of cities, countries, nations that you go to. And you also have to realize that things are going to be completely different. Okay? There is a synopsis, probably the wrong word. There's a synopsis that travel is going to change your life and you're going to open up and you're going to be this new type of bird. And I don't believe that. Here's why I don't believe that. Travel changed my life, but not in the way that people think. People think once you see these other cultures, it's just like amazing. You never really experience anything like that. That's not how it changed me. Do I enjoy that? Of course, it's amazing. But I will say the thing that changed me is probably not the thing that most people think. First of all, realize that travel is for you, okay? And if you think it's not for you, then don't travel. That's fine. But I'm saying You can travel, okay? I can travel. Anybody can travel, okay? The people that can't say or that say they can't travel are the people that say they can't travel, okay? Because there is non-rich people traveling every single day. In this day and age, 21st century, we are extremely lucky to be able to afford plane tickets, to be able to afford international travel. It's amazing. A couple hundred years ago, it was unheard of. It would take you a lifetime to walk to these places or to hopefully boat to these places. Think about it. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Can you imagine putting your life on the absolute line? And I'm not talking like just jumping on a cruise ship and like sharding because you're scared. I'm talking about you jumping on a ship that literally you're like crossing your fingers. There's like an 80% chance that you may not show up to the next landmass. Like, that's scary, okay? Our percentages are way better now. Know that you can, first of all. That's the first thing that you need to get out of your head. If you're saying you can't, you're right. But if you say you can, you're right. Which one do you want to be? It really depends on what you want to do. The next thing is, it's a unique chance to see things and cultures that are not what you thought they were. Okay? Now this goes for the good and for the bad. What you see in a National Geographic book, what you see in travel sites, what you see in this, it is not real. Okay? That is a blown up perspective of a very narrow click. It goes like this. This is all you see when you look in those books. That's it. One simple picture or one simple video. Now remember, a video is like a movie, okay? A movie could span over the course of 2 hours, right? But in that movie, you could get an extremely long period of time, sometimes 1,000 years, crammed into 2 hours. So you're not seeing struggling at the airport. You're not seeing getting lost at the freaking in the middle of the city. You're not seeing the leg pain that you're experiencing. You're not seeing the crappy food. You're not seeing the diarrhea you got for 3 days because you ate some really questionable lettuce on the side of the road because you were really hungry and you're trying to get all your veggies and that's what you do. You're not seeing the random conversation with the amazing individual that you met on the corner, sitting, waiting for a train, and you never seen him again. You're not seeing those crazy random pub crawl nights when you meet up with 50 absolute complete strangers and you're in the middle of a Costa Rica, in the middle of San Jose, Costa Rica, and you Uber with some random person to a really, really, really unsafe area. And the Uber driver says, hey, when you leave, you need to call me. It is not safe. And you're sitting in there and you're sitting in the bar and there's 5 people staring through the window at you and holding onto the bars outside of the window, just staring at you for a good solid hour and a half, like they're going to kill you. Okay? You don't see those things. Am I saying that all of this is bad or good? No. It's just your experience is going to be completely different than anything you're ever going to see online or in a book. Your experience could be absolutely amazing. You could go to Morocco. I could go to Morocco. You could love it. I could hate it. It just depends. It really depends. You may think your whole life, I want to go to Egypt. And then you go to Egypt and you're like, wow, that was the worst experience of my life. Or you could say, I don't want to go to Egypt. And then you go to Egypt and you're like, wow, why the hell did I not come here before? I'm going to come back here 25 times. Seriously. There's no way to tell what's going to happen, what it's going to be like, how you're going to experience it. It could go a billion different ways. That's why you just need to book a ticket and go see the world. You really, 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 really do. That's all you got to do. And I say that with absolute certainty. I do not care It's kind of like a bad relationship. You ever got in a bad relationship and some of it was just absolutely unforgettably awesome? Some countries are going to be like that. Okay, sometimes you're going to be like, what? Germany was like that for me. Oh my gosh. I did not have that great of a time in Germany. But then I lost my cell phone. I still owe Sprint $1,500 for this. I almost drowned in a river while videoing, trying to make a YouTube video while drunk, while being sucked through these. And it was actually like a canal road, a canal. It wasn't really a river. It was like this channel of like things. It was like you jump in and it sucks you down and it shoots you down like 40 miles an hour. And I'm trying to video. I was clearly way too drunk. I had about a bottle of whiskey in me. Let's just be completely honest. I was with a local German girl. And then I left there and I take off and I was so upset about my phone. I couldn't even function mentally. I had $800 in the back of my phone slid into the phone case, like one of these little phone case things. I had it in there. I had my identification, everything gone in a split second. I was so upset, aka really drunk. I took off and I had rented a bike. I don't even know how the hell I found the bike again because I locked it up somewhere randomly. I got it and I kept trying to run and jump on it. Boom, face plant, bleeding all over. Run, 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 jump on it, face plant, boom, bleeding all over. Like I got back to the freaking hotel the next day and I'm pretty sure if you've watched my videos, my head was all busted up. My hands were all bloody the next day. It was rough, okay? But in the same sense, they had a spot in a different part of where was I? Munich, right? Was it Munich? Munich and Frankfurt. Maybe it was Frankfurt. No, it was Munich. In a different part of the country, there was Munich, and yes, Munich. Frankfurt was when I lost my phone. Munich was completely different. They had a park, Issa Park. I think it's Issa Park. Don't quote me on that. Park of Issa, ESSA, something like that. Anyway, right in the heart of the city. It was kind of like a Central Park type thing, but way bigger. And it was just like goes on and on and on and on and on forever. And I just rode my bike, rode my bike, rode my bike. It was such an amazing experience. And right in the middle of it, they had like this river, the Issa River, going right through the park. And at a certain point, there was this spot where it was like all these rapids would take place right before this bridge. And it was like a really popular thing for everybody to have these short-ish surfboards, like 5-6 feet, and they would jump in and they would ride the waves, ride the waves, ride the waves, and then they fall. And it was like hundreds of people around there. It was just an amazing experience. Like it was a beautiful thing. So, so if you go into travel thinking, I'm sorry, thinking this is going to be the most amazing experience of my life, blah 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 blah. Life's not like that, okay? Don't go into things with unrealistic expectations. You're going to have good times. You're going to have bad times. You're going to have stressful times. You're going to have times that you're like, I'm on top of the world. And then you're just going to hit rock bottom sometimes, okay? And you're going to be stressed out. Because the biggest thing that I can recommend to you is if you're an extremely impatient person, figure out things to do when you don't have things to do. Meaning, bring a crossword puzzle, bring a game on your phone, bring a book to read. You're going to work on your patience a lot. I'm an extremely impatient person by nature, but I have become extremely patient due to travel. That has helped me immensely. There are times you are going to sit and wait for plane, train, or automobile for 8 to 20 freaking hours. And if you get pissed off, you're only going to piss yourself off and piss other people off because you're pissed off. And if you're traveling with other people, they're going to get pissed off and they ain't going to want to travel with you no more. So bring something and also tap into your mind and realize, hey, when this happens, just flip the switch, zone out, chill out, wait patiently, and realize that that's just part of the process. I will say the more money you want to save, the more you're going to be waiting. So be aware of that. But even if you're spending a buttload, you're still going to wait. The next thing is, now, people travel on all different kinds of levels. There are people, now I will say there's usually kind of two extremes of travel. There's the extremely Okay, so you can't categorize these as people, but you can categorize these as situations. So there are non-people, there are individuals that get into high-end travel or individuals that do low-end travel. And just because you're doing low-end travel does not mean you don't have money. Just because you are in high-end travel does not mean that you have money. Okay? Now, I recommend, fully recommend, both for both. Okay, so if you got a lot of money, get your ass in a hostel. If you got no money, save up and get your ass in something nice. The reason I say that is because most countries, now granted, it may not be an option for some people to do really nice places in really expensive places. Like, for instance, if you're going to Australia and the cost of living is really high and you're a Thai person or whatever, maybe that's not an option. But you could stay in a Thai hotel, or you could stay in like a resort in the Philippines or something like that, really nice for way cheap. So just because something's $2 a night, and I'm focusing on this here, just because something's $2 a night, maybe, yes, it would be accommodations, it would be perfectly fine. But if it's $2 a night, if you spent 40 bucks, which is still half the price of a hotel in America, what would you get? Would you get an absolutely insane experience? Try it. Try it. And also, the reason for the individuals that like to travel on a higher budget, go to a hostel, because a lot of the times people on a higher budget don't get the experience of the people on the lower budget. You don't get the experience of working with each other. You don't get the experience of some Italian guy while you're cooking your food standing there literally almost spitting in your face, going like this, blah, 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 not shutting up for 3 hours. It's okay. That is going to be what makes you grow as a person, okay? Not having some butler, care for you 24/7. I promise you, the experiences, partying, hanging out with all kinds of people from all over the world are much richer in life in the hostels than they are in some of the nicer places. But the same goes for the nicer places. You can find really amazing experiences in those too. You can find some really high-end parties and stuff. Just kind of depends on what you want to do. But I recommend both for both people, both individuals, both types of travelers. Now, usually the travelers that are traveling longer term, meaning like the backpackers, the people that quit their job, people that sold their house, people that blah, 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 the ones that are traveling long term are usually the ones that are at the hostels, or people that are trying to backpack for a month or whatever, because it's just not feasible to do. And some people can, but it's not as fun. And you don't meet anybody and stuff like that if you stay at a motel or a hotel. Hostels are a great experience, and they're also very affordable for long-term travel. The people that usually stay at the hotels and do all the crazy zip lining, fun things, cool, awesome, crazy stuff, and you can do that on both ends, but usually those people are the ones that travel like once a week, 2 weeks a year, or something like that, and then they work, a pretty strict schedule or whatever. So they're able to save up a lot more money and do a lot more fancy things for a short amount of time. Had to take a bathroom break, sorry. Another thing is, and this is just a side note, I know I kind of touched on this a little bit. If in any point of your life you have been mentally against, and this really probably won't be much of an issue, because I'll explain that. If you have ever looked at like a certain religion or race or culture or country in a, I don't want to say negative fashion, but a fashion with a biased opinion. Meaning like, if you think, I don't want to call anybody out, but if you think the Middle East is, whether you think it's dangerous or everybody is bad there or anything like that, first of all, be careful the places you travel. And I'm not saying be careful the places you travel because I believe what you believe. I'm saying be careful the places you travel, because if you already have a negative mindset and you go inject yourself into a situation where there's people like that, you're going to potentially get yourself in a situation that probably was never even going to be an issue until you brought like a crappy mindset to that location. Okay. So you really do have to remember when you travel, places like London, places like New York, places like where else? France. These places are epicenters of cultures. Okay. When I went to, I think specifically probably London and France were the most diverse cultural environments that I've ever seen in my life. Like literally people from all over the planet converging in one spot. So if you have a type of mindset where you single out race, ethnicity, culture, religion, political views, do not go to these places. Okay? Because, first of all, and I'm not here to judge what your views are. I don't care what the hell you view or what you believe. That's your belief. You know what I mean? I'm not putting that on me. But I will say I was dating somebody and we went to a location. I don't want to call them out. Went to a location and I realized that this person really thought that everybody of this other culture was out to kill them. And it was the most uncomfortable experience of my life. And constantly reassuring this person that that was not the issue was extremely difficult. And then it got to a point to where it was extremely offensive because honest, hardworking individuals of this group of people were just commuting back and forth to work and they were being looked at like they were going to hurt somebody. Now, whether that's true or not, I obviously couldn't tell. But you can't go in the world and expect that each and every single one of the people that you think are going to do things are going to do things. And I'm not trying to be like delusionally optimistic, but if you go into a situation, if you go to an interview and be like, I'm not going to get this job, you're not going to get the damn job. And even if you do, you're going to suck at it. Okay. So go into situations that are more comfortable for you. Okay. If you're not comfortable going to a certain region of the world, don't go there just because you want to travel. Stay away from it because you're not going to make anybody else's that experience better that lives there. And you're also going to set yourself up for disaster anyway. So you have to have a really open mind as far as like cultures and different things. Also, furthermore, on the same note, when you do go to certain Middle Eastern countries, certain African countries, and this is not a race thing, I'm not racist. I'm saying when you go to certain countries that you know are going to be a little bit more strict. I know some of the male dominated societies and different things. There are rules. There are rules for women. There are rules for men. You things like you don't approach a woman that is in full dress in public. That's not okay. You know, there's different things that you should read up on. You should be very careful and respect the cultures. And it's not whether Jonathan believes in these things or not. It's the way it is, and you either abide by that or you don't go there. Period. You have to sometimes, realize that this is not my country. This is not my rules. These are not my laws. But you need to say, okay, I'm going to make sure I respect everybody and enjoy the beauty of what it is and move on. So that's really important. And I will say certain countries are not the same as the United States. I haven't been to any really, really extreme versions of that yet. They will come. But just keep in mind on some countries and really overall, you should just kind of do your research and stuff. Now, the next thing is exit your comfort zone. Just like I was just talking about, you're going to see things that you don't understand. For instance, in America, the thing I've noticed is we are very macabre when it comes to the human body, as far as like all kinds of things. And The rest of the world, specifically like European countries and pretty much anywhere, the more remote, the more it happens. They don't see the human body as a gross thing or inappropriate thing or whatever, or a sexual thing. They don't over sexualize the human body. The human body is functional. You will see all kinds of people breastfeeding everywhere, whether it's in the supermarket, whether it's right in front of you. They're not covering up. They don't give a damn. The human body is a tool to be able to feed their children. And you will see children running around with no clothes on in the middle of London, okay, at a park. And that's completely normal. And here it would be like, oh, and then the opposite, okay, in a lot of the world is we are very okay and open with violence, as far as like violence and like in our movies, violence in our daily lives. If you just look at the police here versus England, our cops got, they got AKs in their car, shotguns, and they're carrying guns on the side. You go to London and they don't. They don't even carry weapons. I mean, they have, things like sometimes they'll have tasers and they'll have different things, but for the most part, a billy club is as much as they got, So we are very open and understanding to violence. If we saw a fight, we wouldn't be as shocked, but we may see the other things and get shocked. So just remember, just because you're uncomfortable with things, it doesn't mean that it's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's whatever. It's just the way the countries are. People, and I'm warning you, if you have personal space as an American, if you want your friend over here, well, guess what? When you travel, Europeans are right here, okay, when they talk to you. So it's going to be really uncomfortable, but it's okay. Break your barriers down and know that it happens. They are also very oriented, as far as like some are reserved and stuff like that, but they're very let's make dinner together, let's hang out. Like they're very social and stuff compared to we have, as Americans, I've noticed a lot of us are very standoffish and stuff. So just break your walls down. Remember that things are different and it's okay. And if you want to grow and you want to get the full experience of travel, it's really important that you maybe emulate those people as you see fit. Not everything, but the next thing is what you make of it. Travel is what you make of it. It could be fun, it could be shitty, it could be lonely, it could be happy, it could be inspiring, it could be motivational, it could be exciting, it could be depressing, it could be anything. It really depends on the mindset that you're in. And it's kind of just like daily life. Like if you go through 100 different moods a day and you're bipolar, then you're probably going to, while you're traveling, go through 100 different moods. So something I've noticed is I get into a very interesting state mentally a lot of the times when I travel. When I am home, I'm very scatterbrained and stuff like that, but when I travel, I can put headphones on and just kind of experience, just chill, walk, experience things, just look around, and it's just very it's very different for me. But it really is what you make it. If you're ever in a place where you're uncomfortable when you're traveling, or you just feel the vibe is bad or whatever, leave. Nobody's stopping you. Leave. I don't care if you lost your money. You can talk to the hostel or the hotel. Usually if it's a couple of days in advance, say you booked and paid for like a month at a hostel. If you go and tell them, hey, I gotta go, I'm not really having the greatest experience, maybe you probably shouldn't say that, because then that's just based on nothing. But tell them, I have an emergency or something, just come up with something. And you explain to them that you want to leave. Usually they'll charge you for like a day or two just because they had to fill the room or whatever. But 99% of the time they have, and I've done this even a week. I went to Costa Rica. The hotel I booked was in a pretty crappy area as far as like being around anything. I had to walk really far to supermarkets and stuff. So about 2 days into a 7 day stay, I said, you know what? I'm just going to talk to them, and they charged me for an extra day, but then they gave me back the following 5 days, which wasn't much anyway. It was only like $8 a day, so it's really not a big deal. But a lot of the times we feel obligated to stay because we made the decision. Swallow your pride, get the hell out of there. I don't care if it's if you lose the 50, $60 or $100 or whatever, just go, because it's worth putting yourself in a better state of mind, because travel is not forever, and your time is very precious. Some people are going to only be able to travel for, you know, a week or a couple days. Like, don't waste that doing something that you don't want to. It's so expensive. It's so much time and effort that you put into this. Go do what you want to do. Maybe you want to go sleep on the beach. Go. I don't care. By the way, be very careful about where you sleep on beaches and what areas, because you'll get jacked. You'll get robbed. Don't do it in Costa Rica, especially Limon or Puerto Viejo. Chicks went with, everybody I went with on that trip and hung out with for a couple weeks was like literally getting robbed, like all the time. Knock on wood, I never got robbed. Okay, next, become more understanding. Become more understanding. Don't be the absolute jerkhole that walks up to a reception and gets pissed off because the person that you're talking to doesn't know your fucking language. Okay? You're in a different country. If anything, you need to try to make an effort to communicate with that person. That's their country. Okay? I understand they're in the hospitality service, and yeah, they should try to speak the language, blah, blah, blah. But how the hell can you expect somebody, how can you get pissed off at somebody for not speaking all 50,000 languages that people come in there? Think about it. Maybe that person speaks New Guinea or something, and they are great at talking to the Africans, or they are great at talking to the Dutch or something, and they just so happen to not have picked up English because of life. What the hell do you know? Suck that shit inside and say, well, I would love for one time, because I see so many people throwing a bitch fit at the receptionist because you're hot, you're tired, you're exhausted, and then you get there and they can't speak English, and it's like blah 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 blah. Yeah, I get it. That's fine. It's a pain in the ass. Okay, I know. But imagine how difficult it is for them. Like, how many languages do you speak would be my first question, because if you speak a couple international languages like English, Spanish, Chinese, and what's the other one? French. If you speak one of those languages, usually you're going to be able to at least somewhat communicate with somebody, or download Google Translate and just type that shit in and hand it to them. They're going to be able to understand kind of what you're doing or what you're saying. And if you're getting pissed off for them not knowing your language, well, they should be getting pissed off for you not knowing their language, but they're not. So calm down. Don't be an asshole. These people are working hard. They're really trying. And trust me, it's probably really stressful to be in that type of situation. So don't make it worse for them. Seriously. Be more understanding in all of travel. Don't be the jerkhole that is at the teller pulling a bitch fit because you're pissed off about whatever. Relax. Understand that you're in a different part of the world. And you're probably lucky that teller doesn't come around and kick your ass for it. The last and most important thing is how do I say this? I'm going to say this in two parts. The world really isn't what you think. And then the second part is and I put this one way, but I'm going to put it another way now. The world is not as dangerous as you think. Now, granted, I'm not stupid. I know there's certain places that are extremely volatile, and you probably want to stay away from those. And I'm not going to name countries, but there are countries that are really dangerous. And you can go on the website the United States has. I don't remember the name of the site, but you can kind of check the threat level or whatever, and it'll say like green, yellow, like pollution or fire or whatever, and it'll give you the options or kind of like a couple tips to, but I would say if it's ever in the red zone, don't go. It means there could be like a civil war or something going on and stuff. And if you want to go, fine, bring an entourage, have fun, you know. But be very, very careful about the places you go if you think that there could be imminent danger. Just check on the internet. The internet's going to give you pretty solid information as far as the United States websites are concerned. But the world really is not as dangerous as you all may think. All of you aspiring travelers or anti-travelers, and if you're an anti-traveler, it's probably not going to be somebody that's watching this video. But specifically, females worry about traveling. Specifically, young people worry about traveling. And I will say 90% of the people that I see traveling, did you like that? I was like, oh yeah, where's my thoughts, girl? 90% of the people that I see that are traveling in hostels and hotels all over the world are women. And they're between like 20 and 30. And they're backpackers and they're going for extended periods of time and they're solo. And they've really had no issues. It's not about being weak. It's not about being strong. It's not about anything other than listening to your intuition, not putting yourself in dangerous situations, not going around with strangers, not looking for trouble. So here's a couple things. If you want to get hurt or you want to get into dangerous situations, go partying with people you don't know. Okay? Do drugs. Okay? Get drunk alone in places you're not familiar with. Walk in the middle of the night. Okay? And what else? Go to strangers' homes. Or if you don't want to get yourself in dangerous situations, don't do any of those things. Okay? I don't recommend any of those things. It is the same shit that you would do or not do at home to get in trouble. Okay? Same thing. Use your common sense when you travel. Think about what could get me hurt, what could not get me hurt. I've used these tools every single time when I travel. Every time. I don't go to strangers' houses. If anything, they have to be people that are also at like a hostel that I'm staying at, and we kind of just chill in a common area, which is fine. Most of the time, there's cameras, everything's happening. You got faculty, staff, or whatever. Faculty, what is this, school? Could be. They have schools. Some Spanish schools are integrated with hostels and stuff. But it's only dangerous if you make it dangerous, okay? And I'm not saying that you won't get robbed, you won't get jacked, something won't happen to you, whatever. I'm not saying that, okay? It's not the end-all, cure-all. But I am saying if you stay out of precarious situations, you're going to probably avoid most danger. I think it's probably good if you do any of those things, like you go clubbing or you go get drunk or you go out at night. Do it in groups. Do it in groups, maybe 2 or 3 people. If you do go out at night, maybe take a cab. If you do go out at night and take a cab, make sure you're taking a cab that was called by the hotel so that you know that it's not just some random person that's going to drive you around all night in Bangkok and drive you 47 miles in the wrong direction. And for some reason, you're going to sit on the phone trying to figure out why you're getting charged when he's not taking you to where you want to go. And then you're going to have to pay him to be able to get out of the cab. That's not cool, okay? That's not cool. And that could happen to me. It happened to me. I was so freaking pissed. I was cussing that dude out all night. But just make sure you're aware. Take metered cabs. Make sure you're actually paying. Also, check local websites, like local Facebook communities. Like, for instance, Canggu, Indonesia, in Bali. Indonesia, Bali, Canggu, the city, or whatever. Little surfer town. There's a lot of problems with the cabs. If you are caught taking a Uber versus a local taxi, there could be a physical altercation between your cab driver and the other cab drivers because they're like fighting against each other and they will beat the shit out of each other. And you may not want to get yourself in that. So you can really check like local Facebook groups and stuff to kind of just see what's going on, to watch out for and stuff like that. Don't trust people with your money. Don't follow people. Don't invite random people over to your accommodations and stuff like that. Just use your best judgment. And if your judgment sucks, you probably should not travel alone. Bring somebody that has good judgment. So that being said, that's kind of what travel is. Travel is just a beautiful thing overall. It's an amazing experience. It's unmatched. We are lucky to be able to experience these things. And I fully recommend traveling and seeing the world. Like there's not much that compares to it. And it's really the coolest thing is it's nothing like what you're told. Like you may think it is something, and you can create the experiences that you think, but most of the time if you just put your wallet away and kind of go through the motions and stop paying for everything and stop paying top dollar and everything, kind of just mingle, talk to locals and stuff like that, you're going to experience that this is a completely different thing than what you had ever envisioned, which is the awesome part. It's like you're going to a place that you've been told is something and it's not at all. It's really like awesome. You guys have a good day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. Just wanted to share those things with you, and it can truly be the most exhilarating experience of your life to travel and see the world. I fully recommend it. There are some amazing places out there. I will say some honorable mentions would be England, Scotland, Switzerland, Amsterdam, where else? Mexico, Tulum is beautiful. Vietnam was amazing. There's just so many places that are just absolutely unmatched, and you may not like all the places that you go, but go anyway because you might think you're going to hate it and you might fall in love with it. If you're new here, please check us out on Facebook. Our link will be in the description below. It's called World Travelers. Also, thank you, Ellen, but I will show you. This is the backpack that I use to travel, and it has been the best backpack overall. Actually, sadly enough, right when I first got it, I shoved it into a airplane thing and I cut it, which I can't believe I did that. Like literally the first trip I took it on, it got like a little 1/4 inch cut on it. If you can see that. Can you see that? Yeah, it sucks. But the material that this is made of is like an extremely strong canvas. It's got lots of pockets. It's got the charging USB thing on the side, and then it has the cord inside there so you can put a power pack at the bottom of your bag and it's not hanging around, and you can have your backpack on while having the cord wrap around. It's got a strong integrated like wire cable here. It's got a spot for your laptop. It's got a spot for your passport, all kinds of stuff. It's even got a spot right here. This is actually one of my favorite spots because I only usually travel very light. I pack very light. This little thing right here, this little thing, do you see that? That's actually to hang your locker key, which is really cool, so you don't have to fish through your backpack every single time that you're traveling. And for the most part, it's been holding up really, really well. It's like 40, 50 bucks on Amazon. I'll put that in the link in the description below. I 100% recommend you do that versus traveling extremely heavy. Best general rule of thumb when you travel, if you don't use it at home, you're not going to use it while you travel. Meaning, yes, maybe you want to bring your chapstick, and yes, maybe you want to bring your blow dryer and stuff like that if you're a chick. But 90% of the stuff that you're trying to bring is probably a bad idea. Plus, it's going to cost you a lot. My best recommendation is to stay within a TSA certified, online, free, even on Spirit bag. This is free, no matter which company I fly with. Okay? Even the really, really budget ones that want to charge you for everything. That fits as long as you don't super load it. With my laptop, my week's worth of clothes, I've traveled a month with that fitting. That's all I brought. That's it. You guys, have a beautiful day. Travel because you're not freaking dead yet. Bye.